From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, October 16th. Today is the last chance for some rain, but a small one at that. A little breezy, chilly, and not much sunshine. High today at 55. Tonight will drop into the low 40s, even cooler outside larger cities. We were following breaking news on Daybreak this morning, and IMPD did confirm that a man died after a truck crashed near German Park. It happened around 2:45 this morning on Meridian Street near Stop 13 Road. Investigators believe the driver hit a pole, lost control. His passenger died. Medics took the driver to the hospital, though no word on his condition. Police do not think alcohol was a factor. More Americans who were stranded in Israel are now home. About 270 people flew into Tampa last night. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis says the state partnered with a nonprofit to bring the evacuees back on a charter flight. The U.S. confirms at least 30 Americans have died since the outbreak of war between Israel and Hamas. President Biden is now considering a trip to Israel. It's according to a new report from the AP. Last night, in an interview with CBS, Biden made his strongest public statements yet, calling for Israel to exercise restraint, to take out extremists, but not to reoccupy Gaza. Biden also said the United States can and should support both Israel and Ukraine.
The most powerful nation in the history, not in the world, in the history of the world. The history of the world. We can take care of both of these and still maintain our overall international defense. We have the capacity to do this, and we have an obligation to. We are the essential nation, to paraphrase the former Secretary of State.
Israel says 500,000 Palestinians have left northern Gaza as Israeli troops prepare for a ground invasion. Hospitals in Gaza say they are on the verge of collapse and cannot meet the Israeli demands of evacuating patients. The current count of deaths in the war on all fronts is more than 4,000 people. Dozens of supporters of Palestine gathered over the weekend at Monument Circle in Indianapolis. Yesterday's vigil was for those who've died in the war. One demonstrator News 8 spoke to condemned the actions by the Israeli military.
Those people that were killed in the Gaza Strips are civilians. Buildings were bombed, and those are populated by civilians. So the United Nations warned Israel not to commit this type of war crimes. You are after a general group of people, they are attacking you, go after them, but don't go after the civilian population.
Several rallies supporting both sides have been held in Indianapolis since the start of the war between Israel and Hamas. And a leader in the Jewish community here locally says that Jews in Indianapolis are working to find hope in the midst of war. Mark Swates is the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Indianapolis. He says while it's hard to deal with the deaths from the war and easy to feel discouraged, community support can be vital.
The last thing you want to do is sit here in Indianapolis and feel helpless. So giving money, we've gathered together as a community, formally as a broad community to show comfort to one another, going to synagogue. There's so much to do still. Even though it's been a week, this is not going away.
Swates says it's important to show solidarity as the fighting continues. From iTeammate, local legal leaders call for discretion from the head of the state police. The Indianapolis Bar Association is responding to comments from Superintendent Doug Carter in an iTeam report. Carter was sharply critical of the bond system, calling out a case in Marion County in particular. Attorney Jim Voiles, speaking on behalf of the Bar Association, says it's common for law enforcement officers to be critical, but that such conversations should be private and not played out in public.
If you look at what Carter said, he obviously wants to have a dialogue about something. I don't think the press is the place for that until we can get together and figure out what his total complaints are, how we can react to those. Are they good complaints? Are they positive? Will they help the system? We're no different on the bond issue than 91 other counties. These are not just Marion County problems.
Voiles says there is a forum in place called the Criminal Justice Planning Commission to address concerns like Carter's. In your vote 2023, voters in Lawrence will pick a new mayor on Election Day. The city's current mayor is stepping down. News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist spoke with the candidates hoping to take over. It was in this week's edition of All Indiana Politics.
Lawrence is by far the largest of the 4 excluded municipalities in Marion County. Republican Deputy Mayor Dave Hoffman and Democratic City Council member Deb Whitfield are running to succeed Collier. I asked each of them about their public safety plans.
We must invest in our public safety officials, not just police, but fire. Our fire department and our police officers, they've got great response times. Crime has been consistently trending downward. As you may or may not know, I was the police chief in the city of Lawrence for 6 years, and in all of those years, all of our Part 1 crimes, which are all those crimes that we report to the FBI, they were trending downward in general, and that continues to be the case. It's the men and women of the Lawrence Police Department that get the credit for that, by the way, and only by having a fully staffed and funded police department can that occur.
Lawrence is safe. We have a very high rate of solving our crimes, but we also have to have an idea to move forward, to continue to build that safety. So I want to make sure that I am a candidate for Moms Demand Action, so gun sense. I think that we need to continue that. We need to increase the buying, purchasing age from 18 to 21. We need to end endless permit, gun carry. We need to help our police officers better and resources for them and our first responders. So there's a lot of things that we can continue to do to keep Lawrence safe and to invest in Lawrence.
All Indiana Politics airs every Sunday morning at 9:30 exclusively on Wish TV. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
And today, the House returns from a weekend break as the search for a new speaker nears its second week. Republicans voted Friday to nominate Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio for the role. It's not a sure bet. If Democrats unanimously vote for Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Jordan could only lose 4 GOP votes in order to secure his nomination. CNN cites an email from a House member that says lawmakers will vote tomorrow. It says Jordan may call for multiple ballots in the vote if necessary. And also today, a judge is set to hear arguments over a gag order in the election interference case of former President Donald Trump. Prosecutors are pressing for the gag order, saying they want to rein in verbal attacks against likely witnesses. Special counsel Jack Smith says Trump's also using increasingly incendiary rhetoric to undermine public confidence. Trump's legal team says the proposal is an unconstitutional effort to silence him. It's not clear if the judge will issue a ruling today. A man shot by Indianapolis police over the weekend is now in custody facing charges. In a new update, IMPD says officers arrested Markel Sampson Sunday on preliminary charges of battery with a deadly weapon and pointing a firearm. Detectives say Sampson shot someone early Saturday morning, then later pointed a gun at an off-duty officer who fired at Sampson. It happened at Bubaz Bar and Grill at Washington Street and Mithofer. Sampson was initially listed in critical condition and, as of yesterday afternoon, was still in the hospital. Police say the officer who shot Sampson is on standard administrative leave. And to the Colts, the team fell for the 8th straight time in Jacksonville against the Jaguars Sunday afternoon. The lead in the AFC South was on the line. The Jags scored early and often. While mistakes doomed Indianapolis, Gardner Minshew threw 3 interceptions and lost a fumble. After the game, he put the blame squarely on his own shoulders.
They did a good job. They got some pressure, but at the end of the day, I was careless with the ball. I didn't do a good enough job taking care of it. Put our team in a really bad spot, and that's not fair to the rest of the guys. So really going to look at this, hold myself accountable. Not going to tuck our tail, not going to drop our chin. We're just going to keep pushing through it, learn from it, and we'll come out the other side better.
Andrew Chernoff has more from Minshew, the coach, and other key players.
Colts disappointed with this performance on Sunday here in Jacksonville. They knew heading into this game against the Jags that sole possession of first place was on the line in the AFC South. But the offense struggled against that Jags defense. Indy committed 4 turnovers and had only 44 total rushing yards.
2 possessions in the first quarter, and then we were running it a little bit, and we threw it on second, pass situations a little bit there, and they, like I said, they got some turnovers there, and we were trying to get back in it with some of the passes, and it's just how it played out today.
We got it going, man, and just kept shooting ourselves in the foot one way or the other. Personally, I was not good enough. I got to be better to give us a chance to win, because as the game went on, it kept getting closer, and we just didn't take advantage.
Compared to all our performances here, this isn't the worst, but like if there's a bright side there. But if you look at all the games that we have won, like he's had his hand in like all those games. So just know that Gardner is a winning quarterback and that we believe that.
Gave them short field, which is hard to defend for our defense and things like that. So I think, it's never about, technically what the other guys do. It's about what we do, how we execute, and we just didn't execute at a high level there.
It's 3-3, 11 games to go. It's a long season, and I think what every guy can do is just execute whatever's called. What I can do is my output, the way I lead the offensive line, my energy, and my attitude. And that's my message to everybody.
That was Ryan Kelly's message to the locker room after the game. Another message he could have relayed, though, hey guys, at least we don't have to come back here the rest of the season. This place has been a nightmare for Indianapolis. The Colts have now lost 8 straight games inside Everbank Stadium. In Jacksonville, Andrew Chernoff, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
And today is the deadline to file 2022 taxes for more than 10 million people. Most people who filed for an extension must file their 1040 form by today or pay a penalty fee. The IRS says there are some exceptions. People affected by Hurricane Idalia, the Maui fires, and severe flooding in Illinois, Alaska, and Vermont have another extension. A new study reflects the weight loss potential of Lilly's diabetes drug Mounjaro. Research published in the journal Nature shows the drug helped people who were obese or overweight lose at least a quarter of their body weight. To be part of this study, participants had to start with 3 months of diet and exercise, then began shots of Mounjaro or a placebo. By weight, the average loss for those who got the drug was 60 pounds. Mounjaro is currently only approved for diabetes, but is in short supply for off-label uses for weight loss. A popular restaurant in central Indiana is sticking with tradition, even under new ownership. Jake Burgess bought Bongi's Tavern in Perkinsville just more than a month ago. He says the restaurant's intimate atmosphere, just 12 tables, helps make it a hidden gem. Burgess says he likes it that way and has no plans of expanding hours or the size of the restaurant.
It's all kind of a whole big conglomerate of a lot of really, really, really fun things built into one, and being out here in the middle of no cell service around cornfields, it really creates that what food and dining should be, and that's community, and that's friendship, and that is the breaking of the bread.
Burgess says the previous owner told him people have flown from as far as South Dakota just to eat at Bongi's. And today, city leaders are slated to break ground on the next 2 phases of Pogues Run Trail. The city's Department of Public Works says the $7 million project will connect to the previous section of the trail. It says the new trail will run from the end of the existing trail at Commerce Avenue and Brookside North Drive to Pogues Run Art and Nature Park. The groundbreaking is at Brookside Park near North Olney Street at 11:30 this morning. An interstate in Colorado was shut down after a deadly train derailment. Authorities say a coal train went off the tracks near Pueblo. Part of it toppled off a bridge and onto the road, killing the driver of a semi. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating, and crews are working to clean up the site so the interstate can reopen. The recommended detour adds 20 miles to a trip between Colorado Springs and Pueblo. A fascinating life has ended. Suzanne Somers died Sunday, just days shy of what would have been her 77th birthday today. She rocketed to fame as an actor, playing the cliché of a ditzy blonde in the TV show Three's Company. Her life's second act included soaring success as a fitness icon, entrepreneur, and author. She also battled breast cancer for the last third of her life. Her family announced her passing Sunday as they hope to be celebrating her birthday. Rite Aid has filed for bankruptcy. While it doesn't have any Indiana stores, it is one of the biggest drugstore chains in the nation. The company cites a series of setbacks, including a number of pricey lawsuits over opioid prescriptions. Rite Aid says it's lined up $3.45 billion in fresh financing in order to restructure. The plan includes closing some stores. And a business headline, Southwest, United, Alaska, and American Airlines are facing strikes. While some hurdles remain, all 4 airlines are negotiating with their flight attendants, and one union says a holiday strike is on the table. The American Flight Attendants Union voted nearly unanimously in favor of striking. Walmart's bid to cut shoplifting at self-checkout counters has led to a surge in hostile encounters with customers. Employees with handheld devices that track purchases at self-checkout registers can pick up on shoplifting, but the workers claim they're not properly trained to handle sticky-fingered shoppers. The average employee spends 10 hours and 47 minutes a week drafting emails that few recipients read, according to new research. But only a third believe their emails are always read. Commissioned by Slack and conducted by one poll, almost half of the respondents said that email is an outdated form of communication. The boom in luxury goods is over as consumers pull back on their multi-year high-end spending spree. Bank of America says card spending for luxury fashion has been on the decline for 6 quarters in a row, with luxury fashion spending down 16% year over the past quarter. And Netflix is planning to open 2 permanent retail locations in the United States by 2025. Bloomberg reports they're called houses, where fans will be able to eat, drink, and shop at stores based on its popular shows. For example, Stranger Things or Bridgerton houses. It's all part of a push by Netflix to help engage and retain subscribers. This has been your News 8 Daily 8. For Wish TV, I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.